All right, hello everybody. We are live. Let's go share the link so people can find it. Um, let's open up YouTube. I don't know. Where do I track this thing down? Oh, I bet it's in the Discord. Just a minute while I get set up. Oh, I shared it in UFO. That was the deal. I'll share it in Prosperous Universe too. All right, how's the audio for everybody in the chat? And I'll also let low strife. All right, so my plan for today is we're gonna talk with Low Strife a little bit about market maker activities, but first we will be doing some the usual daily stuff that I do to maintain my empire. That is going through the notifications, sending off the ships, checking the burn numbers, and seeing what critically needs some attention. So, oh yeah, this is usually what I wake up to is, like 25-ish notifications that I go over. And the first thing that stands out is the very, very exciting. We have a 40 pointer, which it's probably been a year or more since I've had a big one like this. I don't think I've had a governor or a base construction one in certainly many months. So we will accept that right away. And it happens to be on Nike, so almost all of this stuff is already there, which is pretty convenient when you can just like knock out one of these faction contracts instantly. The other thing that I believe actually XIT repair, Nike is in need of some repairs. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is send out that. So what I usually do for that is the action repair resupply, which does them both at once. This is a nice little time saver because every time you're going to repair a base, you might as well resupply it with workforce consumables also. The only downside is I have two material groups, so you have to make sure to set them both to the right place. So yeah, that's a lot of junk to transfer. So we'll get started on that as per usual. But this is a pretty big deal over having to do it manually. So being able to go through this is a huge time saver for all your bases. And Nike's pretty close. So I actually have the action set to not send 1 day or 2 day extra, I think. And it's always worked out for me. Probably not best practice, but there you go. Hello, folks in chat. All right, so you can see there's a ton of items in here. We need extra trusses for the contract, but everything else we have in stock. So this is ready to send off. Whenever I send a ship, first I fill it up with 40 days of workforce consumables, and then I go through and say like, oh, what does it need for actual production. And in the case of Nike, that's usually just send a bunch of extra aluminum. I see that LD is low here, so it gets kind of fiddly to like manually rebalance. So it's out of nylon. I know, okay, so here's 600 nylon. We'll just bring over about 400 of that. And aluminum's always low. PG, we can send a couple bit of that. And then I'll just fill the ship, the remainder with aluminum. So Nike is one of the planets that needs the most attention because it's always, it chews through a lot of materials. It's my only 2 permit base. So that one always needs attention. All right, back to the list. I usually am looking for elections. So run on planets where you were just elected to keep them going. Try to remember that the planet exists. Because sometimes you just kind of forget. Make sure it's, yeah, okay. This one should be in my list for actually getting taken care of. I don't usually check population reports except for Phobos and Malahat because those need the most attention. And I will fill contracts as they come by. I think, and the experts, of course, you need to click on those. So we're good on experts. All right, so mark all as red. That's pretty good. Then the next cleanup task I usually do is go through the planets that something has landed on, the return trips, because everything is hub and spoke shipping. So just kind of go through everywhere a ship has landed and it goes back to Ant. About 90% of the time it goes back to Ant. Okay, so the ATP comes out. The CTF is about half of it gets used for various hull plates. The other half is sent out for other projects like engines. Like CTF is always kind of a problem material because it takes a lot to make it. So we'll send about that. That ship's about full. So that's pretty nice. We'll do that. Hecaton is construction. This planet I'm going to retool, and that might be like one of the later things that I do. Let's retool Hecaton. So this planet was originally going to be a gateway planet, and that meant it needed not just appliance factories, but the advanced appliance factories to produce gateway segments. The thought at the time was that, hey, gateway segments are larger than any ship that's available. We'll have to build them on site. But that was before the introduction of the HCBs, the 5K ships. So we don't actually need to build anything on site for a gateway now. So this kind of was a mixed planet. I think it's going to go just to be welding. And that'll, because like these APFs just have a huge amount of extra crap on the planet, and then you need technicians and engineers, and now you have three sets of workforce consumables. So it's just kind of a logistic pain in the butt that don't need. So that's up with Hecaton. Griff is churning out large quantities of beryllium and borosilicate for combustion chambers. So just kind of empty that out. We'll take the rest of the aluminum we can take. That's a profitable little planet. Hyalos. Hey, I have 2 more permits than I did the last time I streamed. This planet, which I haven't looked at until now, should be relatively balanced in being able to make Let's check this out. Oh yeah, look at that, 9 days. All right, that's good. So this is just to make HCCs for to get CBLs. I used to have a planet to do this, Origo, but it changed to chemistry. I had a huge stockpile, finally worked through it, and prices for HCC have been huge. And CBLs are actually like a loss uh, if you have to pay market rate for HCC. So, so we'll just send that back.
All right. Good afternoon. Mic check. Everything going?
Hey, yeah, that sounds good. And it should be set up so people can hear you in the chat. Just let me know in chat if folks can hear that okay.
Yeah. Just let me make sure the levels are good. I'm not too loud or something like that.
No, it looks about right. I can, I'll match myself to you a little bit. There we go. All right. Yeah, you want to talk market maker stuff?
Yeah, we could do something like that. Yeah, I'm usually best prompted of good questions, but yeah, that's sort of my area of expertise.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So here's my current my current market maker behavior is place a bid and forget about it for absolutely forever. So what people had pointed out in the previous stream was that like, oh, I have 200 million, 300 million in bids just sitting around on the market that will basically never be filled. And I should clear them all out, I guess, because they probably don't make sense. And I kind of just need a better way to manage the collection of things that I'm buying. Um, yeah.
So what I'll say is that managing orders and stuff like that is I'm watching your stream and I'm watching like all the orders auto delete and it's
Right.
incredible. But managing it is something that I do constantly. If an order gets deleted, or if excuse me, if an order gets filled by somebody, I basically replace it immediately. I look at the order book and then I just
Okay.
boom, I know the inventory target that I'm trying to hit. If I want 1,000 or 500 or whatever of these,
Oh,
I,
okay.
I modify the price in order to meet that quantity.
So you're kind of watching what's in your supply in your warehouse. I assume that's like what's in your warehouse plus what you have cells up for. Is that true? Or
Oh yeah, for the most part. Yeah. So because when you look at the order and when it's filled, I'll just glance at my inventory. Oh, I have enough or I don't have enough. And then I'll
okay.
be aggressive or passive on the price that I would offer of something that like I'd want to buy. And so every time you get that notification, you just go and replace those four orders and boom, that's how you like sustainably do it in the long term, at least in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, so my thought was doing something to kind of automate that a little more to track the order book, and I haven't decided, right? Because I don't want to automatically be putting up bids that don't make sense, but I do want to be able to like do something that's a little more, less hands on. So my first foray into that had been, all right, let's take a look at the software. So these software items, the stuff out of the SDs, are pretty unique in that the costs, like if you price one of them, you should have a
I think we
price
have
that makes
audio
sense for
issues. You're
all
cut.
of them. Can't hear me.
Yeah, it's like it's at least for me,
Um,
at least here on Discord, it's cutting
okay.
out. It's hard
Yeah,
to.
let me tweak my
Oh wait, you're
let's tweak my Discord settings. That should not cut out because I turned off the voice detection thing.
and gone again. That's very strange. It's like you're it's like a bit rate drop or something.
Hmm. All right. Well, let me go ahead with this and see how it is if it's okay. Yeah, for the software development, they're pretty interchangeable in terms of what you would be paying for them. So I had put together this sheet that basically says like, oh hey, I want to buy this amount at this price, and then I can put that into the actions. And what I might do with that is also subtract the number that like, oh, I already have a bid up for 46 of these and I want to buy 50, I should buy four more. So that's kind of the direction that I'm thinking of going with some of this. Software
We're still cutting
development
out,
is
unfortunately. I'm sorry. I
yeah,
can't.
I don't
I can
know.
only hear like once every 5 seconds.
I don't know what's up. It seems like it's okay for me, like outgoing. Um how's folks in YouTube chat? Is the audio coming through okay for you? Like, am I cutting out there? Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with the Discord call. Can you hear my duck?
Yes, I can hear the duck.
Okay, I don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
it's weird. It's like it's dropping in and out. I see your green voice activity, but that's strange.
okay, yeah, I'm not sure. Might just have to roll with it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I set it to studio mode, so it won't cut out from me. By virtue of the like noise detection.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of like
I
Discord's automatic volume
Yeah,
management. Yeah.
right. Because I'll turn that down. Maybe that'll help.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Maybe that works. Yeah, because you sound louder now. So
okay.
maybe it was like muting you for.
I can also turn off the built-in like noise suppression and echo cancellation in case that is being weird. So it might sound a little different, but
It's working now. So all right,
okay.
let's give this a
Okay.
shot. I missed like the last like 5 minutes. Sorry.
Yep. Okay. So where was I? Yeah. So like looking at software development for like, hey, what prices do I set for that? It kind of has a unique thing in that if you price one of them, if you price one day of software development, you can price all the others proportionally. So I had kind of started with that and put that into a spreadsheet, and I have it set up so I can auto create bids on a CX for those materials. But I want to do that for other stuff, and I want to do that for stuff that I buy and use, but I also wanted to do it for stuff that I might buy just to repost and resell in the traditional market maker role. So because I want to make it less uh less I want to make it more automatic, less manual intervention, because one thing I notice is that I could probably, if an order gets filled, I could probably manually recreate that order. But a lot of these orders that I'm sitting on are things that are really old. This order's 800 days old, and they're at the very bottom of the order book. And you can see here that Evo has bumped one up to me on this one. So like I actually use soil as mostly for governance stuff. So I should clear that out and buy it again.
Yes, periodically sometimes. I'd probably average once a month. I go through and just take a look if I'm bored or not doing something else. I take a look at the bottom of precisely that, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not really viable anymore. And I go through and churn those through because sometimes, yeah, the market moves and you have to adjust. But I think the automation, at least in my opinion, is just based on your inventory level. I think that's the only judge you need to have. Then that
Okay.
defines how aggressive or passive you want your price to be.
And you're usually are you usually pricing relative to the market prices, or are you doing a lot of uh, actually calculating like what is the cost to make this, what is the profit of someone buying this at a certain price?
Yeah, so I use the Prune Planner ROI.
Okay.
That's sort of your high level guide star, and
Yeah.
then I use the cost of goods as sort of like a baseline. Okay, that's sort of a floor because people are unlikely to sell below
Right.
their cost.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I have a lot of I mean, I'm sure a lot of these bids are now under that floor because they were made so long ago that it was yeah, at the time it was okay.
Yeah,
So,
and then things
yeah.
change. Yep.
I guess all right, can I get the information that I need out of the ROI overview, or do I need to um, dive in deeper into each item? Here, let's take a look at. Let's try to get a price for. See, yeah, I hate to do them like one at a time, right? I want to do them all at once. So
Yeah.
NS, uh, so at 332 for NS, it's making 80K a day, which isn't anything to write home about. So I'm probably cool putting up a bid for 332. Let's see what we've got for on the order books. So 332 would be the high bid in Antares. And Moria, it's actually okay. It's actually like I would buy some here. So let's go ahead and put that into the sheet.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm not sure a good way to automate it because it's sort of the way I do it is a one-off. You know, I do this every time I look at it. It's a manual input for the most part. If you wanted to pull everything,
yeah.
that would be an API thing, and that's beyond me.
Well, let's see. I don't know for what I don't know our audience's interest if they'd rather see if they want to see, you know, programming stuff, development stuff. But we can do some of that too. So NS should be in here. Oh, all right.
Oh, wait a
Just
minute. The normal page has every item listed, so you just copy paste that into your database, and that's your database.
yeah, yeah. The page out of the ROI tool from Prun Planner.
Yeah, it before
Yeah.
you enter a filter.
Yep. Yeah. That's kind of what I was leaning on. I'm not sure if it's sufficient. Like if it's how far it'll get me.
Yeah, it depends what you're using it for.
Yeah. I mean, let's throw it in here. It should auto tabulate. All right, cool. It kind of messed up the header. Is base ROI. This row. And the output is like a little bit of a let's try to split that on so we can like look so we can look up oh, I'm gonna have to do this. Oh no. Can we limit the split? So it's gonna barf when I get to the multi-item outputs, which I will probably just ignore for this. Uh, which is just AMLs. I think we can index this by 2. Friends 2. I don't know. I don't remember how to do this. All right, I got it. All right, so what I'm doing here, for the benefit of the chat, is this will be the ROI of each base that makes each of the one things, you know, that we can do a lookup on, that we can VLOOKUP on. Then we'll look at and you can pull the full order book for everything. Which might be a little more than we can do on the stream, but we can. Oh, I lost the. This is too many. This is too many sheets. All right, our new sheet is Prun Planner import. So for NS, we can do, let's do like VLOOKUP. So this will kind of be, what I'm thinking, this will kind of be our sanity test to see, are these prices okay or not? Index 2 is sorted false. Okay. So what this is telling me here is we're going to skip these columns because that's software specific. We'll put in this amount. I'll bid like, I want to buy 500,000 at a time, maybe, just to kind of keep an eye on my capital. And that might be something that we would want to adjust.
Oh yeah, actually, I would say that's actually a really good point. You want to control your order size. That's actually one thing that's really important.
Yeah.
Is you don't want to buy too much at a specific level, or you want to be flexible with that.
Yeah. And the other thing that, sometimes comes up that I would like to do something about is every once in a while we have someone quit the game or just decide they want to clear the order book. And you get something like this where somebody decides they're going to sell down, their whole stockpile just to try to clear the order book. So I like to have like, oh, I want to purchase 100,000 drinking water at 30 or something like that. And I like to have those orders sit there because sometimes they do get filled. Like it's a, you're gonna sit on that for a really long time potentially. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that kind of thing? Is that dumb or?
No, you're completely right. And it's less efficient use of capital, but it is more you deploy that in a very low probability state. But sometimes, yeah, they
Yeah.
do hit because someone clears the book and it's just boom, that's a big payday for you in a way.
Right.
Because the ROI is technically pretty trash because it might sit there for 1 or 2 or 3 months. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
I sometimes do that. It depends upon the market, and usually I do it more on the sell side because that doesn't have a cost of capital per se.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of get a sense of like, it happens in H2O. It happens in drinking water. It's not going to happen in like the weirder high tier stuff is usually my experience. Like even I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, like I don't think it happens in ores because let's see what I got here. Okay, so I have a low ball offer on aluminum ore and it was hit occasionally in this range 240 to 230 days ago. So I think the price had just dropped and we had a bunch of sellers. But it's really hard to move 10,000 ALO, and like water and drinking water are actually easier to move even though they are big and heavy, like it happens. But the ores, yeah. So I don't know, like maybe I need a separate list of what I call like catch-all bids or like the really low ball stuff.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the market, and it depends upon your available cash too. If you want to do something like that, I've done, for the last 2 months, at least me personally, I've been a bit pressed for liquidity, for
Sure.
cash because of the market maker changes and stuff, and so I've taken away some of those. But it can be powerful because they're also guaranteed bid for a signal to someone else to say, okay, I have the confidence in producing this item in the long term because there's this
Sure.
guaranteed price floor, and so that induces a lot of trade in my.
Yeah, I had good experience with that. Like AFR was one, like, so it's a real weird thing, and like it would not move and on a normal situation. And the catch is that until this week, I had zero FS buildings anywhere, but I put up fairly small bids in different markets, and like they had been getting filled pretty reliably. I think the some of them are closed, so I gotta keep on top of them, but which I forget about them and then I don't. But yeah, so I had an 18K here, and like I don't use it that fast, so it works out like it's enough for me to keep my ECAs going.
Yep, I do that as well with a couple items. I just, I think mostly shielding for ships. I just have these super long-term bids, and I think a lot
Sure.
of people see that and they're like, "Oh, I'll build the building or I'll build something, a one-off
Yeah.
to fill."
I mean, I assume it shows up in like I feel like when I'm setting bids like that, I'm telling Prun Planner like to show it to people. I see
Oh yeah,
now, like, all right, so this is negative. So my bid is too low. This is terribly negative. But I think that might be just that ZR is really expensive. Like,
yeah, you have to be careful of that. So that's one of the pitfalls. I feel like I've talked about this seven
yeah,
times in the past week. But you want to be taking a look at the, especially for complex items, like multiple steps potentially down the line to make sure that there isn't one item that is distorting everything behind it.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the case for most shipbuilder components. Uh,
Hmm.
but and it's a bummer because people will say like, "Oh, hey, zirconium is well, let's look it up." But I'm going to hypothesize right now. Like, zirconium has a really high price on it. It's super profitable, but people don't want to make it because it won't sell. But they could turn it into AFR, and I would buy the AFR to some extent. And because the AFR looks so bad, no one does that, and then no one does the ZR. Let's see what ZR is actually at, because if they're both low, then the prices are just yeah 160 yeah 169 a day. That's a pretty solid. I mean, it's an AML base, so the ROI sucks. Um, so
I
what?
would say I actually want to sidebar here. Actually, I would say that's a pretty powerful thing though, because you have more advanced bases. In theory, should make more money per day because they're harder to get into. They have these
Yeah,
worse ROI figures. So while a chemical plant might be fine at 80K a day, AML probably isn't. So you want to like sort of mentally factor that into when you're looking at these profitability numbers.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, looking at the AML prices here, like zirconium is um one of the better options. I mean, I beryllium is just great. It's such a fun, it's a fun fast recipe. You get the aluminum. Yeah, like we were talking
Yeah.
earlier. Like I was surprised, like 20% of aluminum is coming out of that recipe. I guess that's my interpretation of that data. That's how I roll, but
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that as the universe ages, people will be leveling up into AMLs, and that amount just grows. I
What
think
I'm
it.
really impressed with is the demand for beryllium because it seems like the output of that is just able to sell super easily. I have a large inventory of it because I'm expecting the
Okay, yeah,
gateways to have some demand, but like the trade in Moria is absolutely incredible. It's really really nice to see.
yeah. I do a lot. Like I had been doing CBLs for quite a while, and I think I'm always short on beryllium. Yeah, so I have like 500 now. Um, I'm limited on I'm limited on connectors right now here for making CBLs. But I really like CBLs as a market maker because I make them with the intent to sell them as market maker goods, and then I end up using them all in ship components like LFEs or
Yeah, I
or
can't believe
or
the
the gateway.
demand.
So yeah,
Yeah, the demand for those is incredible. I can't believe how many people go through, and POW as well. That's a really popular one too.
yeah. I tend to make a lot of power cells, mostly because that's what I make when I run out of connectors. Yeah, because it's the fallback. It's the fallback at the ECA when
Oh yeah, having those is important. I saw yesterday you were talking about those, and that was pretty cool.
yeah. Uh, but also, yeah, I don't know. Every time I stop building PAL for more than a couple days, I run out and I can't make any more of these radio unit things, radio devices. So, got to keep this whole thing going. And actually, yeah. So I need more. I need my CBLs for my LFEs there. Yeah. So that's going. Yeah. Let's knock out a couple more of these. THF is the other one. So a base making THF is 90K. The PPD7 for that is, oh, I should pull that too. Is that in here as which column? I don't think it's actually shown. You got a mouse over it here. Well, we'll have to get the pricing sheet. So THF is one that I use. PPD7 is 445. Um, that's a reasonable, not too high offer. 445. DDT. So the planned profit per day for DDT at 25. So that that's a little low. I can probably go up to like let's call that 2600. And then let's look at the order book for it. So 2600 will actually start buying stuff out of here, which makes me feel like I want to lowball it. So let's go ahead. The chart. Oh wow, yeah. Look, I wanna, and there's like, see, there's no bids here. There's just one, and then someone at 300.
Yeah, the
So
market for DDT just collapsed after the FIM and IDC changes.
yeah, so I have 1,000 in storage, which I guess is kind of a lot because I do use it pretty slowly. I mean, I do find myself buying stuff for my own use, um, at bad prices. So I wanna try to like get better about that. Let's put in a little bit. So the thing I don't have set up is the ability to check my inventory levels and zero out some of these.
You could probably automate that to some degree. I'm imagining if you have your spreadsheet and that's plugged into your whole inventory, you could
Yeah,
set threshold levels and that could give you like a daily summary. Oh, I need more of this or I have too much of that.
I have it. I had it set up for the shipbuilding because keeping track of shipbuilding inventories is like a nightmare. But I ended up taking that off because like you'd look at the sheet and then you'd make a change and the sheet wouldn't be able to update for a little while, so it kind of would get confusing, so I started hand entering some of it. um Yeah, yeah. Um, so let me show you, like, let me show you the, so I have a custom version of um, refined prun installed that will do thing that will make bids for me.
Ooh.
Let me see if I can turn. So let me show you. I think you'll like that, but it needs a little bit of action here. 17. Let's set this. Let's set this up. 17. Blah blah blah.
Oh, it's an action package I can place. Oh, wow, that is really interesting.
Yeah. So we grab that action, import. See if it does okay. Valid. What are we missing? Commas or some nonsense? Let's do this. Does it like expecting string? Oh, it's the double quoting thing. So I'm really tempted to move away from sheets for this kind of stuff, because sheets will make a mess of, especially these quoted strings have been kind of a pain. So group one, what did it say the error was? Before the word actions, right at the beginning of the line.
I actually had a pretty good success with Sheets. I run my ship loader off of that, and I generate just like this a JSON.
Yeah.
I built that once like 8 months ago, and it's been fine. That sucks to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah. All right. Let's open up Notepad++. So it double quoted everything. I don't know why. Validate error. It put quotes around the JSON. Yeah. All right. So this is, yeah, this is the tool development side of things. But like, so now this will maybe we ignore that error. Biome, not enough materials, THF. Oh, All right, I'll have to work on it. You'll just have to take my you'll just have to take, oh, here we go. Let's manage extensions. Here, debug add-ons. We are going to load a temporary add-on. I don't know where it is. We're gonna have to. All right, we're gonna have to. I'll have to prepare for this a little better next time. But I think this is gonna be a viable thing, and I might just break up my sheet into some kind of way to differentiate between like lowball offers. So there's some that are like calculated from the time it takes to produce them, like the software. Some of them I'll just hand enter and check.
One tip I could recommend is that set the quantity or the price or whatever to some weird number to
Yeah.
like where it's it always is like 99 or 999, and that could differentiate between a normal and a low ball
Oh,
basically.
okay. Sure. Yeah. Set the, yeah. Okay. Like color code them or something. Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, and the other thing I should do is just kind of go through. The other thing I should just cancel them all. That's what Evo does, is cancel all of his orders at the end of every month and remake them. Because at this point,
Oh, so much work.
there's
It's so
just
much work.
yeah. I mean I can delete filled, but I can't delete all.
Yeah, and like,
Uh,
for me personally, like my existing orders are sort of a guide, and so it would be tough
mm,
for me to replace everything completely fresh.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I also know that some of these, like, yeah, what is this even? WS. Okay. Did I make though? Like, where do these come from? I don't know. How old is the order? Okay, so like it moved a year ago. Like, even the cells should be redone. And I started like pushing down the price of Vitagel VG. For the longest time until maybe like a couple months ago, I just ignored the other markets and only traded in Antares. But now that since I had been doing the gateway stuff and I needed such large quantities, I had to check all the markets for buying those things. And now I'm a little bit in the habit of checking other markets when buying um, this kind of crap. So like I don't know. I should ship half of this VG over to Moria, probably.
Yeah, that I don't have a good solution for to automate bringing materials to the correct locations if you're doing all this different CX stuff.
Yeah,
Most of what I do is I just buy stuff in Benton and Hortus, and that just sits on those CXs, and then whenever a ship is there, I fill it up and then send it back.
sure.
And keeping track of it would be a lot more complicated.
Yeah, I yeah, I would like at least to have buy orders in more than one CX because that I'll get paid in the other currencies, and I often put them on the FX or whatever because that goes okay usually. I feel like, oh, that's the wrong one. Like my FX orders go. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm way behind on those. Those all got filled. And I actually usually like will try to make 2% or more on them, and they get filled. Like that.
Yeah, they do.
That's 4% here. Um, one thing that I consistently notice is that the NCC I have, like everything that I want to buy is cheaper in Antares. And I actually have trouble finding stuff cheaper in NCC, so I can like buy something with NCC and bring it back to Antares. Like I usually can't find things cheaper. This is kind of.
Yeah, I would actually generally agree. I think it is on average the most expensive. I wonder if that's because of my activity, tightening spreads and keeping things in a more tight range.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think especially stuff that isn't traded super heavily, the spreads are tighter usually in Moria. Yeah. I don't think these are going to sell. Like I'm going to get rid of these. What else? What is this? Yeah, look at that. People at 1.0. I don't want to compete with that. I'm taking my capital back.
Yeah, so like if you look at one really interesting thing is you look at ADE in Moria, someone just put up an enormous bid. And so what I usually do if I see that, I just cancel my bids to get the capital back.
Yeah.
And then I put a one quantity order as a trigger so that if it fills, boom, I'm notified.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was these I was looking at the charts for these. I mean, I bought some for my last HQ, but I certainly wasn't buying at these prices. Like I
Yeah, the
will.
demand has gone up a lot.
Yeah. And I know that like these bids were high bids when I placed them, and I okay, that one's old. I was gonna say this was like last week. Okay, it's 100 days ago, but it was certainly a high bid when I placed it, and I think I have stuff for? Are AFABs dead everywhere? Someone scooped 60 mil. Yeah, I'm guessing that it was just like one or two people did their HQ upgrades at the same time. Because I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of people out there who are sitting on like, oh, I have 100 million, 200 million in cash in my account, and like I don't have time to deal with it, or I don't know what I want to do with it. Um, and yeah, let's just clean these out. What do we have? ADE. And the other thing is like I know it would be wise for me to be trading on this price is bonkers. Like this is nuts. 55K? Yeah, I don't that's I mean, I guess historically, like look at like what do we have? Let's look at the order book for ADE in Moria. I mean, it's pretty comparable. They're cheaper. Yeah, let's fill these. Let's fill these. Easy money. I mean, I obviously I have a stockpile of all the AFABs that I can trade on, as long as I'm responsible about it, because they're gateway. They're
Yeah.
gateway plus. I do have a list, and I showed it in the last stream where it's like, here's the number that's in the gateway project, and then like, oh, I have 500 ADE that were like mine out of my production, but I tend not to trade them because I don't, without looking at the spreadsheet, I don't know how many of these are mine versus how many are the gateway project. So that extra little bit of friction doing that trade kind of stops me from doing it. So let's pull.
Usually I fly close to the sun. I make the I buy or sell the item, and then if it's a problem, it comes up later. That's a problem for future me.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair.
And it's usually not. I'm experienced enough and wealthy enough, honestly, to make it like
Yeah,
I can make it work.
right. I mean, worst the 80 all the AFABs, like if you have a week's notice, you can rustle some up
Yeah,
from
usually, yeah.
somewhere. So I mean, if I and the thing with Incorp, so Incorp I feel like we're moving away from just like heavy discount prices. Early in the universe, like you'd be buying things at half price in the corp with corp prices. I'm trying to move away from that. But the rule being that like, hey, if you want something in corp, you can pay kind of the average market rate. But you have priority. So what you're getting is priority, not preferential prices.
Interesting. Why the move for that? I'm just curious. The corps are sort of a dark box.
Yeah. The big thing. So shipbuilding is the place where it comes up a lot. Because you want to give somebody a discount ship, and nobody makes all the parts. So someone comes in and says like, "Hey, I'm making engines at a discount. You need to go make HCBs at a discount." And then the HCB price is set to like 1 million or 2 million. And someone does the math and says like, "Oh wait, like I'm losing a ton of money every HCB I make." And the person who's making, FSEs at corp price is still making money, just because like it's a pain in the ass to sit down and balance the prices out in a way that is fair. There's, things shift, and these prices get set like once every 2 years. So
Oh
instead,
wow.
it's better to like just say like, hey, what's the market price? I want to make sure everybody's still making profit, contributing ship components, especially now that we do shields, because that's like, oh, that's 6 more items types that you need that are sometimes not on the market. So we do a lot of like, I can show you the ship sheet where it's like we just bumped up the HCB price. We say like, what is it on Ant? What is it on other markets? What is the GTU price? What are other people's prices? and try to make sure that makes sense there. But really, we're watching the market price a lot more to make sure that anybody
Interesting.
who's providing is getting compensated.
Yeah, because that has been my outsider's perspective is that, when you have fixed prices like these, if something were to
Yeah.
change, you can have not that the whole thing is wrong, but you can have specific dislocations because the market price of this one thing is
Yep.
extremely high because there's a shortage. And then that just snowballs and cascades through kind of everything, and it makes it really tough to track.
Yeah, and I mean our old price list, like, you know, like the prices in here come from like universe launch days. Like you look at these prices, like these are the things that were available at that time, and like they just absolutely don't make sense. So like we don't use this sheet at all anymore. Um, the we do the shipbuilding, but nobody wants to update it, and it's a ton of work to try to be fair updating it. So then what we do is so what we've moved towards is like, yeah, you pay the full price um for the ship, and then like the court bank or the wealthy court players will just reimburse you. We'll just reimburse your first couple ships at half or uh, maybe like 4 million off. The shielded ships are coming up at like 18, 19 million ish. The shielded 5Ks.
Woo!
Uh,
Man.
yep, they're nice ships. Like I don't have to sell you on how nice the shielded options are.
Oh yeah. Oh,
All of these are the shielded ones, and they fly for, yeah. I mean, look at this. This has never been repaired. 300 days of operating time without a repair. It's amazing. The cost per flight, especially going out to like when I go out to Nix, which is like 30 jumps. That's all right. Got to close all the windows. Refresh the page.
yeah, I have the shielded ship as well. I just don't have the drone repair. But yeah, it's incredible. It's just you don't have to repair it for years. It's a
Yeah,
luxury to have, but I've never done the full like price tally. I upgraded existing ships when I put shields on
sure.
and I just had a bit of sticker shock. I'm like, "Oh wow, those are I have 18 ships. That's a lot of money."
Yeah, I somewhere in this disaster of a spreadsheet is maybe, oh, not this one. Is the ship calculate? Oh, it might be a. It does our calculations. We're putting it at like the cost per flight being like one 20 or 30% lower than the standard like 2K ship with lightweight hull plates. So the sticker shock is huge. The convenience of not repairing is really nice, but like, yeah, 20 to 30% lower cost per flight. Like that's a win that, might eventually pay for itself.
Yeah, the ROI is super low, but these are end game things. I think it's appropriate. I think it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, this one's at, all right, comment from the chat. Yeah, this one's at 83%. Yeah, I could repair it. I just got to uh, um I just have to be mindful of tracking the shield numbers because so I'll do them all as a batch or something. I don't know. Uh, because
Yeah,
I
so
buy the shields from the corp for resale value, I don't want to use shields that I bought for resale on my own ships. So that's why I'm slow about it.
Paul, I'll add a little bit of color here. Actually, I lied. I don't have 18 ships. I have 22 ships. And so, if you're looking at lightweight hull plates on an average repair interval of, let's say, 2 months or whatever, you're repairing a ship or two ships a week, and they have to go to
Yeah.
a specific planet. You have to carry that specific loadout. You have to track which ones are coming up. It's a lot more. It's just another thing you have to keep track of. And so, using the shields to decrease that interval uh, buys you more in real life time, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel. And uh the shipyard at Hef is where I do all of my stuff, and like that's a logistic nightmare about half of the time. So the planet's always it's got three storage buildings, which is like already, or is that three or four? I don't know.
I think
Uh, STO. It has four. Yeah, yeah. Which is already like, ugh, that's such a waste. The warehouse is full, and I often have an HCB ship just sitting in orbit that I can't unload. And yeah, I mean, it's awful. What is it's like? It's always full of hull plates and bridges. But part of the thing is that we do the OOG premium shipbuilding. The concept is like when I say I have a ship, you can get it in an hour. You can get it in 24 hours, depending on when people are online. Like it'll be available immediately. So like that stuff has to be on Hef to some extent. I'm kind of like it's a short trip, so I'm kind of getting to the point where like someone buys a ship and I will dispatch a 5K with the parts on it from Ant to Hef to fill it. But storage is definitely a limiting factor on the shipbuilding.
yeah, those the metals y'all got to work with is incredible. I do
Yeah.
that with Valis, and I have some smelters and stuff there, and it's the most work intensive thing because it's like a ship every day that you have to send there, send back, send there, send back.
Yeah. I mean, Hef, Phobos, and Nike for me are more work than probably all the other planets combined.
Oh wow, that's great.
Um, okay, like this planet makes nylon, right? Like you can just forget about it for 30 days at a time, and I often do. And then you show up and you pick up 600 nylon and like you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Same.
the food planets are not too bad. I have a bunch of food planets. Like Etherwind, you show up once every time you get to 25,000 water. I do 40 days on every planet. Yeah. Um, all these guys are pretty easy. Uh, this new base on WR 681. You got to visit it. Like, all right, what is this? Yeah, I mean it makes 2,000 tons a day or so.
Oof, that's a lot. That's more than any base I have. I think my
Yeah.
peak is 12 or 1300. That's a lot.
So my logic behind that being that like, hey, permits are the only expensive thing for me now. Like if this base needs two more ships to deal with it, it's pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And it produces, well, you can see 20 units out of each extractor. Like, uh, it's looking really good in Prung Planner for the profit. I know CLI is going to drop, but
Yeah, that supplying those raw resources, there are some like beryllium right now is off the charts, and some other items are like incredibly profitable if you go to these, you have a
yeah,
5K ship and you can fly out to the rich deposits. That's one thing I really do like about these new 5K ships that were implemented, is that they made that like a lot more viable.
I actually do kind of. I actually have a theory that because if you if you're looking for the best return, there's a ton of people who are opening up Prun Planner, ROI, sorting by plan profit, and scrolling down and saying like, oh hey, I could make ADE, or like saying like, let's try to find something that's not weird, or that would be easy to sell. PCB, like these people know what doesn't sell, so they can pick out the high stuff. But I think not as many people go into the resource overview because you can't see them all at once. You have
Mm.
to do each one. Because look at this, like aluminum ore, first one, 250K a day. Like,
I have been 30 seconds away from building an aluminum tap for like 2 weeks now. I've
yeah.
been waiting for the market to come back.
I mean, a ton of the extraction bases like you mentioned, beryllium ore, like yeah, 200, 200. And these are, aside from, with the exception of them needing a lot of shipping, they're easy to run because they're all Pioneer bases, and
Yeah.
they need shipping, but they don't need a lot of thought, and they don't need a ton of clicks because dispatching empty ships is just not a lot of clicks. So like a lot of these extraction bases, um, that's just like at what point does a player, because extraction bases are tough for new players to do shipping for. So bigger players don't have those same shipping constraints. But like most of these that I'm clicking through are around 200K a day. So I'm wondering if we're living in a world where um, experienced players will be moving towards extraction instead of scientist and engineer buildings.
To a degree, yeah, because you also want to build up very large inventories of these items that you extract, so you have more stability in the price. Because the last thing you want to do
Yeah.
is run out of stock and the price doubles.
And the other thing that I have noticed, you've seen my helium shenanigans, right?
No, actually.
Okay, I have been dumping helium into you at.
I thought that was Bumbler. Actually, he's been selling like an insane amount.
Okay. Maybe he is also doing that. So I opened up a single helium tap that is, supplies all of Ant, because like a lot of these extracted bases, if you actually make a full base, and there's a lot of people out there making like 3 extractors and that's their permit, like, which is crazy to me. I just cannot,
Yeah,
like,
it is. It's
like
crazy as well. Yeah.
yeah. But you open up like a BTS base and you're making enough BTS for like the whole world essentially. And the thing I like about extractor bases is that for a lot of them, things that aren't water or ALO, you can really just own a big chunk of the market really quickly. Um, yeah, I don't know. Let's see what that actually is, because it feels like a ton. Okay, so global production volume of helium is allegedly down precipitously. Let's look at surplus. It's still a surplus. And let's look at the companies making. Which one is that? The companies making helium. Company rank.
Oh
I
wow,
I
you are
don't know
number
which
2 by a long way. Holy crap.
for helium.
Yeah, Bumbler is he's triple, more than triple.
Is that one right there? Okay. Yeah, he must have multiple bases, which is a fun thing to do. Um, but I feel
Yeah.
like helium in Antares before I opened my base was around 400 a unit, and I just came in and started placing much lower sells than that. There were people buying it at 300, and I filled all of that, and I just kept going lower, and other people just kept undercutting it. But I mean, you can look at the chart, like it was at 600 here. What is this? 600,
Yeah.
800? I mean, it was reliably 400 for months and months and months.
So if you had actually not quite, it was actually a short-term run. If you go to a prune planner, they have the market exploration, which has the all-time price history back to June 2022.
Yeah.
And it was actually a short-term price spike. From November until like March, it went from
Yeah. Okay.
200 to 600. And then we're sort of like back, actually,
Okay.
honestly, below the historical average at this point because y'all have been have been flooding the market.
Sure.
And me as a big consumer, like that's been a super awesome thing because I run a lot of helium through the welding plants for the market maker items.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So a couple months of it being a crazy price. It wasn't just a spike where like, someone bought all the water, reposted it, and then 3 days later it's back to normal price,
Yeah.
which happens
Yeah,
periodically.
it was natural. It was natural,
Yeah.
like demand. Like we need this. Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like there's a lot of extracted goods where like one person can come in and say like, hey, if one person wants to drive the price of BTS down from 500 to 300, like one person can do that easy.
Yep. And then I buy it all
Yeah.
and sit on it.
And if you are a bigger player and you're willing to, like, let me pull up here, like, okay, here's the plan per day for BTS. Like there's a lot of people extracting BTS on planets where they're making like these lower numbers, 80K to 40K. Let me see if that's, how can I make that true? I want to show these planets. I want their pop. I want the reports, but in line. Yeah, might not. Which one of these are habited? Which one of these have COGCs on them? Right. Eratora is a commonplace, but like if you're willing to go out of your way, like there's a big difference between a plan that makes 270,000 a day versus one that's making 60,000 a day or 80,000 a day. Like you just got to fly out to wherever the heck this dumb planet is. It's probably a long trip, but like longer trips
You
just
need
mean
more ships. That's
another
it.
ship. Yeah. And if you're buying shielded ships, then and the sunk cost is huge, but the ongoing cost is low. So
Well, instead of paying, you look at IDC base or the APF base, that's 20 million in fabs just to build it. That's not
sure.
dissimilar from buying a ship
Yeah.
if the permit is the same. So it's just going to a different place, but it's still the same upfront cost.
Yeah. So I think that's, yeah, I think that's and there's just so many players who are sitting on big cash piles that I want to encourage them to make those investments.
Yes.
Yeah. And buying a shielded ship is like, oh, a lot of those players are at the point where it's like, I don't want another permit, I don't want another base to manage. What do I do with my cash? Yeah, that's kind of where what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. I'm done growing because 42 permits is a lot.
Yeah. And are you multi-permitting those?
Just on the headquarters, so just one triple.
Okay. Yeah, same setup for me.
Oh wait, no, I lied. I'm doing for the science electronics bases. I do the same thing you do. I think it might have even been your idea, where you have like it's like 10:3:4 ratio to make WAI.
Oh yeah.
I'm just adding an additional permit on top of that of just more SLs to make IDC.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah,
It's
I
easy and yeah, and that. Excuse me, sorry. There's one more
oh
thing.
no.
It's super easy and it doesn't add any more complexity to like repairing or servicing because they're already super low throughput bases.
Yep. Yep, that's the setup I have on GDU. Uh I guess I got to visit this planet. it's it's got 100 weak AI to pick up. Which, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's weak AI is kind of cheap. I don't know.
I think it's expensive actually.
Yeah, it's let's open up let's open up Prun Planner. I lost it here. It's in one of these tabs.
So actually, my reasoning here is that instead of for this particular example, I just look at the base as a whole because
Yeah.
you run it at those perfect ratios and there's no excess. So if the base as a whole makes 200,000 a day, which is
Yep.
roughly what it is, That's actually a little strong in my opinion. I think that,
Okay.
especially since there's some tech buildings there, there's probably room for that to go to like 150 a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here is that this planet is at 216 and that's with the price at 93. So like I had been like holding on to my weak AI on the assumption that like oh I'm gonna spin up something where I can turn it into some of these like the air WRLIS combination, which is something I'm doing, but the life support always ends up going into bridges, and I there's so many other things that I need to make in those buildings that they tend not to actually happen. And I
Yeah.
took down my AFs because I had 150 STS to sell, but like that kind of suggests to me that like maybe I should be selling this stockpile because
Yeah,
I
I've recently put up a couple orders myself. We're going to be competing now, but I think that yeah, the price is a little high, and I've personally built up my buffer, but I don't have much excess. I think I only make 2 a day
yeah
excess for weak AI.
okay yeah well let's go ahead and put up I don't know let's go I'll ship some out but like I don't have a great mechanism for like oh I'm gonna send stuff to a different okay so the VG because I want to send a full ship out to Moria. It's just like what kind of, and I'll often be like, oh, I'll take especially to Benton or something. I'll take 10 log, I'll take 10 ADS, I'll take 10 com, and those kind of like products. And they might sit or they might sell just because like no one posts them.
Yeah, those man, I went all into those like a year ago to make those headquarter upgrade things. They were incredibly profitable for a long
Yeah,
time, but I'm like scaling it back now because there's a lot more competition now. Prices have really
yeah.
come down.
I think it's nice that the other market maker items are. Oh yeah, look, people are selling them at market maker price for log. Yeah, the when people see the market maker having like a lowball price like that, like I think people peg that price in their head, and
Hmm.
uh, even if I think like Liss is interesting because it happens a little bit there too. When people are probably actually using it in a large part for crew quarters, but because the market maker has that price down there, um, it moves a little bit towards that. Whereas I think it would just sit up at like 800 otherwise, for example.
Yeah, because there's not enough people making it, so you a have a liquid market, and b, you have people who just there's no sellers, there's no public market, so
Yeah,
people just put up one highball ask, and then it just never sells.
yeah. Well, I wish you could just put in a commodity right in the buffer without having to, and it would pre-fill the search. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit on that. And like, what's going on? CI1, same kind of thing. Like that's never gonna move. So let's delete that.
Yeah, I dump all of my log into the market maker, but then I set aside, I don't know, I maintain asks at 70,000 each, just a little, just to have some available.
Yeah, I mean it is something that people need available for their because it's an HQ upgrade thing.
Yep.
So, but someone else can do that. So I'm not gonna, especially if I've got 300 of the dumb things here. Like 200. Look at that. That's 13 million just sitting there.
Yep.
This is the kind of thing that like, I really should pay attention to a little better.
This is the most fun part of the game for me. I don't do it all the time, but whenever I get into lack of a better word, a flow state, and then I just go through. I think like a
Yeah.
week ago, I knocked out like 100 or 150 orders and repriced a ton of stuff. And that's one of the
Sure.
most favorite things for the game for me.
Oh, there was. Do you remember the sodium change that they had made? Where they, what did they do to sodium? They added it to something.
To glass, yeah.
Yeah, was it, it wasn't part, was it not part of glass? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we were like, oh, sodium, it's gonna go up. We're gonna need sodium, guys. It's not gonna be garbage. Um,
Turns out, nope.
turns
Not
out,
quite
yeah.
enough.
All right. And you could just see the stack of orders at 25.10. That's funny. All right, we have 20,000 sodium. I think we're gonna dump it. I think we're gonna dump it all. 500,000 of sodium. All right. Did we make a bump? Kind of, but there's other people. Somebody dumped 40,000. Yeah. I mean, I kind of got to do this just to keep the storage empty every once in a while too.
Yeah, that's a limit I'm running into now. I'm shuffling those storage orders all the time to be able to have the space to move back and forth.
Yeah, because you're out of warehouse space, right?
Yep,
Yep.
I'm at the limit.
Yep. Oh, in other fun news, hospitals are actually pretty good now, and I've been adding hospitals to my planets. So I think PK and bandages. Oops. Open the dev tools. Yeah. Like, yeah, I've got orders and cells for both of them. And I wonder if I do that. I should do that other places too. Oh, hey, for our earlier pricing discussion. So the other thing that's good for pricing is I can just say, like, I don't care what it costs to make, but I have relative prices, what the relative value of all of these governor goods are. Um, which is to say that, like, hey, if you want to put CCDs in a for safety, if you want it to be the same price as the cheapest item, this is what the CCD needs to cost. So I have that pricing information for all of these, and that's a perfect price to utility. Like, the utility is fixed. If I get it at this price, I know it's forever worthwhile for me to buy that, unless there's a patch that changes the returns of these items. So I should be
Yeah,
using that.
that
Yeah.
spreadsheet is incredible. That thing is a work of art to answer these very complex quadratic equations, basically, of where it's like 17 variables of what's the best
Like,
item, and you have this input, output, and it's great.
yeah. This one is the governor sheet, not might be a different one that is colored the same
Yeah, that's
way,
what I'm.
but
Yep.
yeah, yeah. So, like, I know that, like, hey, if I put a bid for painkillers up at this price, like, that will always be useful as long as somebody has a hospital. So I'll have to remember to work that into the market maker sheet. So
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm a governor on a planet right now, and the infirmary is still fine. But that's interesting. I didn't realize a hospital was that effective.
yeah, that is new. The changes that they made, like um it didn't go like as far as I necessarily wanted, but it was pretty good in regards to that. Like, it mixed things up with the hospital. Unfortunately, the drone post or whatever is kind of irredeemable garbage. It should just never be used. And, like, you get a good on comfort. Comfort is traditionally one of the toughest ones for a big planet. Like, you get a good mix of, like, oh, I want some stuff in the 40A, I want some stuff in the park, and, like, the mixed unit buildings like the ACA, like, is pretty good across a couple items. So, like, there's a real variety. It's not just one obvious answer and everything else is wrong.
That's awesome. That's a great place to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. The university is probably too easy to fill, and the other stuff kind of sucks. And there's still turds that you got to watch out for. Like, man, if you accidentally put, you know, deck into one of these three buildings, you're throwing away, it's a 30-fold worse decision than the other options. But
I
there,
think I think my guess for that is that it's somewhat intentional, so that if you run out of all the other options, if the planet is big enough, then you're
yeah,
forced to go for the super expensive thing. But it still feels rough.
yeah, and I like that, like drinking water. Drinking water is always accessible, and you already have it on the planet. Um, but I would like to see it being a little lower, as the drinking water is the convenient option, even though it costs more. And band-aids are a weird special case object that's made, but it's the most efficient. Like that I like. Um, I think for most people the answer is put drinking water in an SST, put drinking water in or off office supplies in an inf, and call it done. But I don't know. It's kind of getting to a point where it's more interesting, at least. Yeah.
Yep, that's balancing, and that's gameplay balancing, and it takes a while to arrive at that. You need some really smart people doing math.
Yep, for sure. And I think I think it's good the game moves slow in that regard. Um, I'm gonna do a quick checkup on Malahat. So I'm gonna call it in about 5 minutes because I got places to be. Were there any other questions from the audience? I was kind of paying attention to the audience. Yeah, BTS. Yeah, Akin uses all his supply of BTS. I do get it in Corp usually. The tungsten market had been crazy, so it's kind of settled down. I don't need to buy as much. Yeah, STS is on the ships. Like I just have so many of them, and they're pretty cheap. I think it just makes sense to always throw one on. It also doesn't make the ship, doesn't make it heavier or anything. So, uh, go for it. Yeah. Okay. So I was setting up. So Malahat needs some attention on the comfort side of things, in particular. And the comfort options, the best. What I need to fill is hog, hog. The the olfactory stuff. See, it's a little tricky. You don't want to fill the wrong. You could put Ulf into here, but you should put it into the 4DA. Yes. So that needs to fill this. And the hog and the EDC. And the VRT gets what? The VRT gets unit per satisfaction. The VRT gets Ulf also. We should put that. So you have to compare the price. So you have to compare the price of, like, oh, is the Ulf better here where it's 7? Or is the Ulf better here where it's 7.2? They're both 7.2. Culture and comfort. And the culture was low, so it goes into this one and not this one. Yep, that's right. Okay, so then I top off all the obvious stuff. All right, art. Let's check art. Art needs UTS is the correct choice for all art right now. BB. I might run out of off there, so I can't do that. These guys are easy.
Emergency ship, send it.
Yeah, and Malahat's like 2 days away, so like you gotta stay on top of this one, unfortunately.
Do you have a small, like a small emergency ship?
I have a couple small ships. I don't do a ton of that. Um, I don't. Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about that. Like, I get the concept, but I just try to fill the ship up and actually fill a 2K and send it usually.
Oh yeah, of course. I do. I try to do that as much as possible, but it's nice when I realize I have a problem, I can immediately fix it and just not have to worry about it again. That's my
Yeah.
primary use case. Otherwise, it's idle at the CX at all times.
Yeah, I had a ship that I used just for exploring, and that was that's okay, but now that the meta has changed on the faction contracts, it sees less use. Uh
Hmm.
so that's fine. Okay. So IDC 15, UTS 60. So yeah, and there's a good supply of like I could switch one over. And actually I need to drop the inf to like level 5-ish because there's two hospitals and they're actually doing some work. Um man, I brought the FOD, but I don't think I need it. Let's do a quick check to see. Because it looked like I was gonna need to put FOD in. I do have it checked. All right, gotta put the FOD in. Yeah. So you can look at the dates and you can see that like I'm putting stuff in like a couple times a week. It's a lot to manage these big ones, especially when you're trying to like, especially when you get into the range where stuff needs um three or four different items. There's a big step up in the amount of work it is to manage a planet that is like two different items versus uh you know the weird ones when you start needing to include the weird ones.
Especially since it's not included in burn calc, so you don't have an automatic loader.
Yeah, I've thought about it wouldn't be hard to work one into the calculator sheet. Um but it would need to pull the like your stocks supplies. Because otherwise, like there's always piles of junk laying around here. All right, so let's click all those in. Yeah, I did see Chad is commenting about like player changes or player count, that it's down a little. Like I saw that in the most recent chart. Um, once we have a longer chart, we'll know that like the waves come and go in terms of like what the seasonal effect is. Because like I don't know, there's always a bump in summer, right? Summer starts, more people show up.
I feel like things have been pretty consistent. Cons has been in the 300s during the American session for it feels like a long time.
There's a new chart that I had just noticed. Company count. So see, yeah, there's a little bit. That's
And
probably.
like I put this in chat too, and like it is to a degree a little bit of my responsibility because I was the one who spearheaded the market maker changes. And for example, that was why Firefreak put up the top.
Yeah, I think that's just a couple, like a very small, like that is such, that's so much less than 1% of people. You know, you had five people leave out of thousands, so
Yeah.
they're just. And honestly, I think his bases would still be super profitable if he stayed in the game. So,
Yeah,
you know.
the reactions of people was, back to what we said earlier about the pricing is that, just looking at Prune Planner because MEA was insanely priced at that point. It was breaking the market.
Yeah, I see that Yeah, yeah. I think it was totally a big improvement for the game. Um, the change, the market maker changes. Um,
Yeah, Icon said in the chat, I think it probably engaged more folks, more players than folks who left. I hope that's true. I hope that it's a net positive in the bigger picture.
I think so because we actually in OOG we had like 4 or 5 players come back who hadn't been playing. Just like, hey, I stopped by to see what was going on, and like, oh, this, like, yeah, I'll start over. I'll make something new.
Like meta changes can bring people back. Like I've been
Yeah,
on this topic actually. I've thought that if we ever do a universe reset again, I'm like, oh god, what's gonna happen? But like, sure, some people will leave, but like a lot of people will be like, they'll see the news and be like, oh wait, we're restarting. All right, let's get on.
yeah. I think that's yeah. I think it's been good for the game. I think people will be interested. I mean, I know a lot of people will be are clamoring to come back when the reset happens. That'll be a big event, but
Yeah.
I mean, gateways won't be out for another couple months, certainly. So whatever, like, and I'm sure we'll have 6 months of notice before a reset. Beyond that, so let's get workforce program education 3. All right, and this payout amount. Oh, you know what? I did the payout in the wrong currency. Oh, I fixed it before making a mistake. Embarrassing mistake. All right. Then we'll log the payout in the ledger. All right. Well, thanks everybody. I gotta call it, and I gotta head out to lunch. So thank you all for joining. Low Strife, thank you for coming. This was excellent. I like having a guest. That's very fun.
Yeah, I think it makes your job a little easier
Yeah,
too.
for
So yeah,
sure.
sure, no problem. Thanks for having.
All right. I'll shut off the stream. Do we know how far along gateways are? Real quick note: the the thing that I use as the metric is like, has a ship flown through the gateway, and the answer is not yet. Once the ship flies through a gateway, then we'll know that it's actually working. So, oh, I was gonna Raisin Pockets here. I was gonna show off my patch to refined prun that allows you to make bids, but it didn't work because I didn't have it set up right. So next stream I'll have a proper sheet for that and we'll show it off. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you next